I'm too saved for sinners and I'm too sinner for the church folk. The narcissist will surround himself by nobodies and then tag them somebodies through them. And so if you did not have an identity of a nobody, you were not even allowed in the inner circle.
Now you said people ain't had degrees. Don't Larry got about 50, 11?
Yeah, and 50 of the 11, I from my hand.
Oh, the blood.
I'm either lying or I'm not. There's a 50% chance I am lying, and there's a 50% chance I'm not lying. She allowed Larry to make a fool out of her in front of thousands of people.
Baby, I have watched all the videos. I compiled notes. I said, okay, I want to be ye also ready. Amen. Yeah. I want to show myself approved. Yeah. Vincent, I'm gonna look you dead in your eyeballs.
All right, what's up? I'm looking
and ask, were you jealous of what Reid said? He said were not true relationships that he had with these other men in the circle. Like, how we all just caught up in some lovers quarrel and we need to be removed from the group chat. What say ye?
I could be so good to you. I could be so good to you. I could be so good to you. I could be so good to you.
Now, today is the first Sunday, in case you're clueless. So what that mean? Huh? It's Communion Sunday. Y'all got y'all blood of Jesus? Y'all know I usually pre-record my interviews and then post them on Mondays. Come on, Communion. Hello? As often. Shit. As often as you do it. Amen. Listen, it is Communion Sunday, and we are grateful for the blood and the body of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. So listen, I am so excited about all the things that's getting ready to take place. Again, hit their share button. Make sure y'all tag me at Sheridan S. Davis or tag the podcast, okay, at Good Girl Rich Life on the Instagram. Y'all, I have a very special guest here today, and I'm so excited to interview him. I'm so excited to interview him. I have been virtually knowing Vincent for eons. Okay. V. Terrell Hill. Praise God. I only met him in person once, which is crazy. We have to do better. But I'm so glad that you guys are here. If you have not, my book, Church Girls 5, is my latest release, and it is available on Amazon.com. The link is also in the description box, so make sure y'all check it out. The people have been sending me review videos. I'm like, y'all, can y'all review it on Amazon too, though? Sending me videos of them crying and all this stuff. It is an emotional roller coaster, and I'm proud of it. So make sure y'all check it out. I hope y'all got the blood with you, because this is going to be a thing. So 3 years ago, I was one of few people who did reviews. Y'all know I used to do reality TV views. I did a review on this show called Reading Things My Way, an internet reality show about a crazy life style of people surrounding the internet sensation Dr. Larry Reid. It featured him, but I was most intrigued by the people around him. At that time, I was a member of the Patreon and have been following these folks for years, especially Vincent. He was my favorite and is. They say there are 6 degrees of separation between you and every person, but between Reid and I, there is but one, and that is Vincent. But there's also another tattoo, and we won't go there. What I will say is that as an OG viewer who watched before LRL became more PC, there was one co-host that captured my eye, and that was V. Terrell Hill. He put the brains in Pinky and the Brain. I met him years before, and he has now set the world ablaze by confirming what some people have already assumed about his former leader. So when he texted me saying, also, whenever you get bold, invite me on your podcast, it was a no-brainer. I believe The internet has wrongly labeled him as a disgruntled ex-employee and completely missed the opportunity to hear his heart. There is literally so much ground to cover. So I'm not sure how this is going to go or how long this is going to go, but I did want to set the intention for today. My goal is not to bash anyone. It's lame, corny, and just not my ministry to do. However, it is my goal to get into this conversation with a man whose story is quite honestly fascinating to me. How did we get where we are right now? Is the church a breeding ground for narcissistic abuse? What is his story? Well, the scriptures tells us that we shall know the truth, and the truth will make us free. Today is my goal to foster a safe space for freedom and truth. Today, we bring to you to the proverbial pulpit a crazy smart man who is unabashedly himself, a man who loves God and is unafraid to speak out. And he has been this way for years. He's a producer, a soul healer, and my homie, I love him very much, Mr. V. Terrell Hill. Hey, Vincent.
Hey, how are you? How are you doing? Are you all right?
Oh, all is well. Praise God. How are you?
Well, I want to say that I love that your parents are in here. I think that
Oh,
speaks well of you that your parents support what you do. Hi, Mom and Dad Davis. How are you?
hey, Mom. Baby, they my number ones, 10
Yeah.
toes down.
Yeah. There's nothing like parental support. I would
That's not-
not be the person I am. I wouldn't even be worthy of that interview. I mean, it's not the interview, that introduction rather, if it was not for my parents. So no, for sure, there's nothing like parental support.
That's right. And
Yeah,
I am grateful for you being here today. How are you? How is your spirit?
I am well. I am on alert. I am. I I said something on my show Friday, and
Okay.
I go with the flow. Trina, not Trina. Sheridan. Who is Trina?
My mom.
Lord Jesus, Sheridan. I go with the flow. I've learned not to ask a lot of questions. It'll get you all tied up, right?
Yeah.
But something got me with my eyes wide open and my ears wide open. And so I'm on this. I have not been interviewed and I don't know when. And I saw you. I was intrigued. And before I knew it, I was texting. When you get bold, let me on your podcast. And now I'm here. So I'm going with the flow.
Okay. Well,
Yeah,
this is all interesting to me because back in February, you have completely set the internet on fire.
indeed.
You completely set the internet on fire
And
by exposing your relationship with Reid. You said that you would do one interview about it. Now let's pause and go back. First of all, you said I'm gonna do a question and answer segment when I feel like it. I love it. Y'all not gonna pressure me to do anything.
not a thing. No, not
And
a
then
God.
you said you would do one interview about it, and I thought you would have done that with maybe make it make sense, maybe
No,
even.
no way in the world I would do it with him.
Wait a minute. Okay.
There's no way in the world I'll go on that man's platform. He's flawed.
Okay, understood. Well, of all the platforms you could have come on,
Right. Excuse me. I'm sorry.
no,
You- my bad. Sorry. Okay. Go ahead.
it's your safe space tonight.
Okay. All right. Good. Cool.
Your opinions are yours.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah.
So with that being said, like, what about this platform, me and my besties, sparked your interest?
I am extremely spiritual. I don't make any apologies about it. And people, people call me warlock and all kind of things. And it is what it is. And
Mhm.
I really follow a flow. I am not, I am a personality. I am loud. I am fun, and I am all the things. But in my private life, I really follow a flow, right?
Mhm.
And I don't know.
Okay.
And I'm saying that honestly, I really don't know. All I know was I was sitting at my desk over here. I saw you. I was always been intrigued about,
Mhm.
your movement and how you move, right? I've always been intrigued. And it just hit me. Ask her. So I did.
And here we are.
Yeah.
Hey, Daryl Moore. How are
Hey,
you?
Daryl, how are you? And I did, and let me say this too. And I did not have any motives with this. Like I have no intentions or no like I'm going to use your platform to get like a gotcha moment or something like that. I'm really up here. I am just as interested in how this is going to go as you might be. Honestly, I am.
Yeah, yeah. Well, this is gonna be that interview. So
All
for those who are wondering, we're gonna ask all of the things. Hi, Cohort TV and Celeste and everybody. God bless you guys. Okay, listen.
right.
So you have assisted creatives with building their platforms, and now you have your own. What made you curate the safe space? What brought you to this point?
Right. So safe space was a space you create the thing that you needed when you were going through, right? And what
Mhm.
I realized was uh, I needed a space that was safe because I was no longer a part of the traditional church. I've always said that, I'm too saved for sinners and I'm too sinner for the church folk. And I am an amalgamation of a lot of things, right? I tarot card, but I prophesy and I speak in tongues and I quicken, but I cuss you out, like all of the things, right?
Okay.
And what I realized was there was nowhere safe for those of us that were on the journey. Meaning, because who I am today is not who I'm going to be tomorrow. And I
Mhm.
need permission to be me today and permission to shift into tomorrow. So it's a real thing. So what I did was I created a safe space so that people can just be. Imagine if the traditional church would allow or give people the room to express, the
Yeah.
room to trial and error. They would probably grow leaps and bounds. And so what
Mhm.
I wanted to do was remove all the constructs, remove all the rules, and just be. And what I find is if you allow people to be, they will naturally find God. I
Mm.
don't have to be like, you need God. No, you need to just exist. And in your existence, you find God. And so that's what Safe Space was about. I don't care nothing about how much money you make. I don't care anything about what you can bring to the table. I just want you to be, and so that's where it comes from because that's what I want to do. I just want to be, you know.
Yeah.
So that's where it came from. I had no real vision.
Mhm.
I really did. I had no real vision for it. It just was cute when I did it. Uh,
Mhm.
I have probably more of a vision for the private community, but
Oh,
just in the public platform, I didn't have a vision. I was just going with the flow.
yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, now listen. I know you grew up in church. Shout out to your parents. Baby, if your mama didn't completely spit you out, hey Miss Linda, that's your twin, honey.
Right, right,
So
right.
what denomination did you grow up under?
I'm a yes Lord baby.
I thought so. Okay,
Yeah.
listen, this is all making sense to me. I'm putting pieces to the puzzle
Uh-huh.
together,
Uh-huh.
and that just makes sense. Okay.
Yeah, yeah, I'm a Koja. Yes, Lord.
Mhm.
Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord. Yes, Lord.
Yeah,
Yes, Lord. You ain't saved, Sheridan.
I
Yes, Lord.
am.
You're supposed to quicken hard after that second. Yes, Lord.
I
Yes,
did a
Lord.
hand,
That,
but
that,
see, I can't give y'all too much.
right. You can't. You sure
I
can't.
can't give y'all. I can't give y'all too much.
Right,
Okay.
right, right.
Uh, you know, I grew up Baptist,
Hmm.
Pentecostal, all the things. We got
Yeah.
pieces of all the things in us. So
Okay. Gotcha.
we're a little real rounded in the Lord. Okay.
Yeah.
I want to ask you this. We talked about you setting the internet on fire in February.
Yeah.
How did you end up at Reed's Church? And I'm asking this because it seems to be when you all describe it, you all meaning ex-members, him, when y'all describe it, it seems to be a church of like refugees or misfits or people who have come from here and there, like finding
It was a
one.
church full of stray dogs. We were all stray. We were.
I said it so in such a kind.
Let me tell you this: the abuser, the narcissist, will
Mm,
surround himself by nobodies, and
mm,
then tag them somebodies through them. And so if
gee,
you did not have an identity of a nobody, you were not even allowed in the inner circle.
wow.
Yeah. So I said that in jest, but I'm being for real.
Yeah.
The more twisted you were in your soul, the more of a candidate you could be for a narcissistic pastor.
Yeah.
Ain't got no daddy, ain't got no credit, you ain't got no good job. You're working at KFC. For me, I was working third shift at a hotel and have no car, nowhere to stay. I was
Yeah.
out there in Fayetteville, North Carolina, willy-nilly. So come on in. I got you.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so then you go to the pound and you realize you're about to get euthanized.
Whew, Jesus. Okay, we starting already. In case y'all don't have your pen and paper out, we're starting already.
Sure.
I could kind of sense that.
Yeah.
How did was your relationship with your parents already breached at the point in which you joined the church?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. So I was pastoring a whole
Mhm.
church. I had more members than Breakthrough, than Larry Reid, and I left my church because he was very spiritual, and I really wanted to be what I thought God wanted me to be, and I had never found someone who was as spiritual as Larry was,
Mhm.
and so when I saw that, I'm like, I'm too young to pastor anyway. The majority of the members were members of my parents' church in Germany, so they were following me. They were following me to follow my mom and dad. It's not like I attracted them, and I
Okay.
didn't. It didn't feel awkward. It felt awkward. It didn't feel right. So I resigned the pastorate and joined Breakthrough.
Okay.
Because in my mind, you connect to a man of God, that's where you want to be, and
Mhm.
then you can become that. And I wanted to be a prophesying, laying on hands man of God. So
Okay.
that's how I found him. Now, the backdrop to that, or the grander story is he was my roommate at Fayetteville State University, went to his church. So that's where that connection
Wow.
came from.
Okay.
So one day I was hanging out the window in my wife beater, being a college student. The wife
Mhm.
beater, screaming and whatnot. They used to call me Bishop. That was my nickname. And James said, "Well, that's the minister Bishop." And Larry saw me in a wife beater. That ain't no man of God. So then James came and told me, and I called Larry and fussed him out. And true story. So then some years later, I go on a 10-day fast.
Mhm.
Now, Sheridan, this is why I talk and teach the way I do it. I don't have an issue with the church, but the devil is in the details.
Yeah.
I went on a 10-day fast to seek God. Okay. I'm going down Murchison Road, the road the church is on. And it's like, not, it's like, I'll say this: God said, turn right there. And I turned in there. I knocked on the door because I saw like a LD Reid, uh,
Mhm.
but I forgot what they called him at the time, but it wasn't LD Reid. So I didn't know if it was the same guy from college, and he answered the door. And then there goes this 13, 14-year journey. I cannot explain it other than that. I don't know. So the question is, well, did I stay too long? Was I supposed to be there? Was it
Mhm.
God speaking? Or was it the okay consciousness? You attract to you your consciousness.
Mhm.
Okay. So, or was it just my low vibrational consciousness that uh attracted the the greatest candidate for what I was asking for from God?
Wow.
You understand what I'm saying? So
Yeah.
you can't just manifest, manifest, manifest. You got to evolve, evolve, evolve.
Yeah.
Or you attract a low vibrational thing if you are a low vibrational person. Did he teach me spirituality? Yes. Did I get what I came for? Yes. But did it come with a cost? Yes. So
Yeah.
I was fasting, asking God, and I got what I was looking for, literally.
Ooh, Jesus. I hope you guys are paying attention. Nuggets are dropping. Thank you, mommy, for the super chat. Um, uh, you were a senior pastor before you joined?
Yeah.
How old were you?
It's 23. See, Sheridan, I got saved at 14. I preached my first message June 16, 1995.
Mm-hmm.
I was preaching around Germany, youth conventions, and I would get up there because I was the only young preacher at the time, and I would get up there and lay the church out. I had always had this strong desire for God. It was after I joined Breakthrough where the message was sort of like, you and your flesh, you always off, you always do too much, you praise too loud, you da, 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 da. But I was always expressive for God. So I wasn't new to ministry when I joined Breakthrough. I was literally a pastor.
Yeah. My question, I asked that because I understand you were yearning after God, but did you want to be a pastor? Because there are some of us who you want to preach, but you ain't necessarily had wanted to.
I was in Germany. I had a $500 scholarship for college. So they were doing the little interviews and the panels, and they said, "What do you want to be when you grow up?" I said, "A bishop." And they're like, "No, what do you want to be?" I said, "A bishop." And my dad knew it. And so when I told my dad, they were like, because they were telling me I needed to go get a real job. Like that was unrealistic. And I went back to my dad. He was hot because all my life, all I wanted to be was a bishop. That's why they called me Bishop at Fayetteville State. I wanted to go be an itinerant preacher, prophesy, and be a bishop in the Church of God in Christ, and wear a purple collar, and people stand up when I walk in the church. That was my dream life, Sheridan. So when I went on that fast, I was going to seek God because I assumed what it would take was a holy lifestyle. Now I find out you don't need a holy lifestyle for it, but I thought that, so
the blood.
Yeah. That's a real
thing.
Yeah, that's a real thing. So I really wanted to do ministry. That was my goal, to be full-time minister.
Okay. What position? So you resigned from the pastorate.
Yeah.
You come over here to Breakthrough. What position did you hold at that church, and how fast were you placed into a leadership position?
So my first time going to Breakthrough, I was a guest speaker as a pastor.
Okay.
So there was a little reverence at that time. There's a lot of reverence at that time. And then as I got in there, I came in as an elder. And then I came in as an elder. And then I think I was assistant pastor because they made Shamako the pastor, and I was like the assistant pastor, and Larry was the apostle. I had all kind of things. And I'll never forget, in one of the church, I forget the address, Larry came in the office and said, "Well, you're not that spiritual." Now, it's amazing when I listen to this now. But he said, "You're not that spiritual like the other people, Mako, Latrice, and them. So we're going to make you an administrative elder and not like a ministry elder." So that was like my last official title. I was an administrative elder. Very interesting. Yeah.
Is this the time period in which he said he started taking money and stuff from you? Is that the end?
No.
Oh.
No. And that's not true. But no, that's
okay.
Yeah, that's not true. He never. First of all, okay, let's go with it.
Understood. All right, we'll get to it. Do you think that when people, not necessarily you, because we know that you wanted to walk in these positions, do you think that when people are thrusted into leadership positions before it's time, do you think that's a way that spiritual abuse can start? Like, what are the signs?
Yeah. The signs for spiritual abuse, it varies. If you give a stray dog a title, you can't tell that stray dog nothing.
Yeah.
And I hope I'm not being offended, but I'm trying to paint a certain kind of picture. That's why parents should not let their kids leave the home without some kind of security, infrastructure, identity, because it's almost like it's a breeding ground. They are a prime candidate for abuse, especially in the spiritual space. And so I'm using stray dogs. So I'm trying to build the kind of church. It was a low vibrational country bumpkin church, loud and rambunctious. It wasn't dignified. It wasn't people of stature. We didn't have education. Nobody had college degrees. Everybody was working like low minimum wage jobs. You see what I'm saying? And like attracts like. And there's a message that I would like to put out, since I don't have to be responsible for the flow of the show, so I can sort of think a little bit. You really have to evolve in your consciousness, or you will be stuck in a cycle just over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And so titles were a way, well, first of all, churches are like that anyway, to give you titles, but titles were a way to sort of put you in position and take you out of position. Especially, I got changed so many titles in my life. I just be minding my business. You're not an elder no more. I come back. Well, now you're an elder. If you're not that kind of elder, you're this kind of elder. You're the best elder in the church. You're the most carnal elder in the church. It's just what it was whatever.
Yeah.
It was whatever.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you said people ain't had degrees. Don't Larry got about 50, 11?
Yeah, and 50 of the 11, I from my hand.
Oh, the blood.
Yeah, I think he started the bachelor's degree, and then I took it over and finished it for him. And then I feel like I did the master's degree, and I think I did some of the doctorates. Absolutely.
Wow. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, Daddy. All right. All
And
right.
the first doctorate, like the whole Dr. Larry D. Reid,
Yeah.
it was an honorary doctorate from an Elijah Forte who had like this kind of rinky-dink, low vibrational Bible college. There was no real doctorate. And then the other doctorate from Apex School of Theology, a school where, excuse my French, I BS through the whole thing. I halfway do that work. He got it anyway. Like, come on, like you have to, if a narcissist is going to narcissist, they
Mhm.
have to put up this front as if they are everything and you're nothing.
Mm.
A lot of it is smoking mirrors, like
Mm.
literally it's smoking mirrors. It's even now, it's a lot of smoking mirrors. It's
Yeah.
not real. And I know it because I was behind the scenes. Yeah, I did the schoolwork. Absolutely. And everybody that was a part of Breakthrough know that. That was not a secret at all. Yeah.
Oh, Lord mercy. So let's get to the video.
Oh, okay.
And we're gonna go beyond the video because y'all, Vincent is more than February. Okay.
Yeah, I really am, isn't it?
Now I watched your video exposing Dr. Reid while also exposing yourself and everyone else.
Yeah.
I have a question.
What you got?
Why were all y'all living with Reid? And also, was this at the time when Elisa was in the military? Because why I could not. I was trying to follow this. Why?
Yeah. Okay, so again, I don't know where culture starts. Okay, let's keep it a buck.
Okay.
Let Larry tell the story of how he was molested as a child.
Mhm.
What? Going over the cousin's house, sleeping in the same room.
Mhm.
So there was never a shift from that culture of pile up. We would be traveling the road on the Dr. Larry to reading the Breakthrough Singers. It would be like 7 guys in a one hotel room, piled up on the bed together, all over the floor, living in the same homes, breathing the same air. It was a breeding ground for mischief. It really was. Like, and it was always like that. When we did all those trips, you would think we was like, but we wasn't balling. We would all be piled up in one room. It would be, here's how it worked. I would book the rooms. Listen, when I left in 2018, I left with all the Marriott points because I booked all the rooms in my name. So we booked 3 rooms, one for him, one for the women, and one for the men. And that Larry Reid and the Breakthrough Singers, that's musicians, that's tenors. So all the musicians and the tenors, myself and Nathan Lotlier would be in one room, and then all the women would be in another room. And yep, I booked. Yeah, in Colombia, correct. That's a real thing. I don't know if it was culture, but the reality is, I'll just say that I don't know if it was culture or or just to desensitize. I am not sure, but I was never like raised like that. You just pile up in the room and sharing rooms and all this kind of stuff. That just was not my jush. So,
Okay.
but why we stayed together? Well, we were stray dogs, and it was a means of control. You know,
Mm.
it was a means of control. Maka, what they doing over there? Don't have them. Da, 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 da. You know, if I lease out an apartment and put you in it, I have you under my control.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then another thing was we were poor, Sheridan.
Yeah.
And I try to tell people that because people are extremely mesmerized by Larry, but this is new money. If you just take a step back and take the scales off your eyes, it is new money, right? We were poor, So a lot of times we couldn't afford but to stay together, like all the way up until Atlanta. Poor,
Oh,
staying
wow.
in high rises, can't afford to rent. It's been driving Mercedes, driving Yukons, living in nice homes, and hardly can pay the rent. It was always been like that.
Mhm.
So so I don't know if it was money, some kind of breeding thing, or culture, or all of the above. I'm not sure.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow. Let's talk about the first lady. Elisa,
All right.
the ex-wife. She said, now I watched the interview she did with Reid. And
That
they
was
talked.
the mistake of her life. That was I had some benevolence towards Lisa
Mhm.
up until she did that interview. Now, let me tell you what's bad. Like, and let me lay this out in a proper way. All right. For number one, I'm either lying or I'm not. There's a 50% chance I am lying, and there's a 50% chance I'm not lying.
Mhm.
Those stakes are really high. If I'm lying, that interview there's no issue, life goes on. If I am not lying, she allowed Larry to make a fool out of her in front of thousands of people. And that's sad. Like, when I think about the reality of that, it really highlights and reminds me, Sheridan, of how dark he is.
Hmm.
And it bothers me, especially with this whole interview with Youngblood. Like, there's a lot.
Do it.
You say we're gonna get into? Okay.
Go ahead.
Uh, I'll wait then. But
No,
this,
no, go ahead and say it.
there's a lot up under the covers that I have found out about like 2 hours ago that lets me see this was a hit piece. It was never about Youngblood. It was never about Youngblood. It was a concerted effort to take a swipe at TD Jakes that's been on the books for a while now. And I'm gonna just stop right there. But let me tell you this: if these people call me back, I'm going to press live. And I'm gonna blow the spot up. Because the problem is the way they are I can't say desensitizing. I think I'm saying that right. I don't know. The way they are dropping everybody's God, what do I want to say here? They made abuse normal for the sake of getting Jakes.
Hmm.
There's a family out there whose lives will never be the same. And to highlight the story of Jakes, they had to discuss Youngblood's past.
Mhm.
So they glossed over it really nice so they can get to the reason why both of them were on that show last week. And that is dark because they did not consider desensitizing. Thank you. Desensitize. They did not consider the family.
Yeah.
Do you know that though? Watch this. Do you know that pastor got members that are up in arms because of that interview? People that were with his ministry for years are triggered and hurt by that interview. But Larry don't care. Dwayne don't care because they had a purpose. They wanted to get Jakes. So any kind of collateral damage didn't matter. And I get so frustrated with the streets of YouTube because how is it that me was the one that saw this and thought, hold on. And let me tell you what somebody told me. They called me, they said, flesh and blood did not reveal that unto you. They said, you hit it right on the head
Mhm.
because the members are talking.
Let me ask you this. Do you think the YouTubers watched it?
They said they did.
I don't believe them. And this is why a lot of them, a lot of people, and this is alleged and in my opinion, from the recaps that I saw, seem to be recapping clips and not the full interview.
because
which is irresponsible.
but the clip was the moneymaker. The clip was the clickbait.
Yeah.
So when we look at my video got like 5,000 views. You know why?
Mm.
Because I wasn't talking about the clip.
Mm.
Somebody commented up under there. You clearly didn't see the interview because, as if to say, and I said, well, you clearly didn't watch the whole show because
Yeah.
the first segment was sort of setting the groundwork for Dwayne. So
Mhm.
I wasn't following the route to make the money and get subscribers. I was trying to get the truth out. Nobody else cares. And you guarantee, you know, them jokers watching my video. They can tracks on me. So, and they're not going to recant because it don't matter to them. Collateral damage don't matter. The truth don't matter. For almost 99% of YouTubers out there, nothing matters but the clicks, the comments, the shares, and getting whatever message they want to get out. It doesn't matter. But what they don't know, the spiritual cost of that a lot of these YouTubers don't go to church. But the people that follow Larry Reid are church people.
Mhm.
And they are being poisoned, sitting up under all of that guile and deceit and darkness for some 2 hours and ingesting it. And you think you just move on with your life? No, you're being desensitized. So that bothers me. It bothers me because there's a child that was molested at 15 years old who got to know that his pastor is giggling about a 15 minutes.
That blew my wig back. I still can't.
But that's what I'm saying. That should be the second story. So I'm not saying don't talk about Jakes. I think Jakes needs to be talked about at this point. Right or wrong, it does need to be at least discussed.
Mhm.
So I'm not saying that people are wrong for discussing Jakes. I'm saying that people are scared of Larry. Just say it how I win it. They're scared of Larry. They're scared of Larry. Yeah. All of them. And I almost started naming names, but I'm just gonna
We gonna name them later. When it comes to dear former first lady, she said she was quite upset with you in her interview that she did with Reid, and I'll have personal issues with any of these people.
Yeah.
How did that part make you feel? Because she, in my personal opinion, seems to be under the impression that your apology to her was fake. Well, that's not an opinion. She said it.
Yeah.
And she said, "Why didn't you call me with this information? You playing in my face." So how did those comments, how did that make you feel?
That's when I lost my benevolence.
Okay.
Because the energy that she was speaking in was this kind of sarcastic, like it wasn't even from some kind of hurt or bothered space. It was like, because she even made a joke about me prophesying back in the day and all of this kind of stuff. So I said, oh, she playing on the other side. Because I hadn't heard from Lisa. So I didn't know where she was at on this spectrum, right? But the energy or the space she was in on that interview, thought, oh, you're part of the enemy. I don't have no benevolence for you. I have no benevolence for you. So
Okay.
and the reality is, watch this. This is how dumb this is, Sheridan. If you didn't leave Larry with that 44-minute video with all of the receipts, you was not going to leave him with a phone call, honey. You wasn't going to leave with a phone call. You never save somebody that don't want to be saved. That's why I said reach out to me, because by the time you reach out to me, that means you are ready to talk. You give somebody the truth before they're ready, and they will cut you with that truth.
I agree with Ashley. It did feel like she was trying to get her leg back, but I was confused. But you know what? I'm gonna chuck it up to maybe, I don't know.
Yeah.
I was confused as to why she was upset. And if I were her, the reason why I would be upset would not be because you went to the internet. I would be upset at you carrying out this affair for 13 years. But you were mad about the internet. I don't know. I would like to.
Right. Of all the things that you could have got on your show and said, because it was her show, and according to the piece I saw, Larry was like, no, ask me anything. Of all the things you could have said, you said you made me the problem. You know, the whistleblower is always the problem until the truth catches up. Now, I'm going to be the savior when it all comes collapsing. And you know what? Save who? Not you. See, I don't owe you nothing. I gave you an apology and you didn't accept it and you mocked me. You mocked my truth. Well, no, you didn't mock me. You mocked yourself through me. I don't owe you anything now.
Ooh, you mocked yourself through me.
I'm going to say this again. There is a 50% chance, Sheridan, I'm telling a lie, and there's a 50% chance I'm telling the truth. There are no other options in this. If I am telling the truth, she mocked herself through me.
Yeah.
And here's the part that bothered me. It brought me to tears. I was in my private community speaking to people, and it brought me to tears. Larry let her do it.
Mm-hmm.
Larry could have said, Lisa, before they went live, Lisa, now let's talk about everything, but let's not do that. He could have said, you don't deserve to put yourself out there like that. Don't ask me that. Don't ask me anything. And then Larry lied in her face, a ridiculous lie at that, and then allowed her to mock me with Larry knowing I was telling the truth. You cannot be a good person doing that. You can't be a good person. Just like I would be a bad person if I'm lying and I came on your platform and doing all of this. That would make me a bad person because I'm dragging you in something, a battle you don't belong in. You're not a good person.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that everybody's acting like nothing. Why? Because it's not bothering them. When it collapses with Larry, there's not going to be no righteous anything. People are going to do the same thing. Clickbait, talk about it, because it's content. Nobody's in this for the truth. When we started Larry Live, and I'm sorry, I'm going to say this in hush.
No, go ahead.
When we started Larry Reid Live, it was about the truth. It was about creating conversation that was not had in the church. I left, and when I came back, it had turned into this monster that was not about the truth. It was about this kind of sensation and Larry Reid and all that. It was not about one person. It was about, we were the voice of the people, Sheridan. Now, it's not lost on me that I am sculpturing my platform to do that. You know why? Because the vision came from me in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I'm done.
I want to acknowledge the super chat. Thank you, Tasha. Listen, you tickles me.
Oh yeah,
I am your fan, honey. I love me some Tasha Howard, honey.
Tasha's that girl, yeah.
She tickles the west wing of my soul. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So let's get back into it. So I'm in my humble opinion. This is not an opinion. I mean, it's not a dig or anything like that. I personally didn't like that portion of the interview because to me, if you're going to address allegations, address the actual allegations, and that was not done. Reid said he forgot he had told you a bunch of lies on these people, which was somewhat confusing to me because it doesn't address the receipts, the screenshots, or the recordings. And maybe that was his purpose or his intention the whole time. Now, let me ask you this. Yeah. I'm ask you this based on what he said. And I have watched all the videos. I compiled notes. I said, okay, I want to be ye also ready. Amen. Yeah. I want to show myself approved. Yeah. Vincent, I'm look you dead in your eyeballs.
All right, what's up? I'm looking
and ask, were you jealous of what Reid said he said were not true relationships that he had with these other men in the circle? Like, are we all just caught up in some lover's quarrel and we need to be removed from the group chat? What say ye?
Was I jealous of those other relationships?
Uh-huh.
Okay. No, I wasn't. First of all, I had the opportunity to sleep with Larry in 2020.
Uh-oh.
I was going to buy a Tesla. I ended up buying my first Mercedes. And I was on the phone with Larry, and he said, if you let me have sex with you, I'll buy you that Tesla for cash. That's when he was just now coming into the money. And,
hold on. We can't just go past that. Vincent, baby, what you got going on over there? It's Tesla. That's right. Listen, I ain't never had to activities
This
on
star don't decline and
Facebook.
nothing else to do either, baby. Now let me tell you something. No, it was control. It was control.
I'm just joking.
No, but you know what it was? It was control. It was manipulation
Mm.
because he's always seen me as someone that was thirsty. He was always seeing me as someone who, like, if I show him a little bit of attention, I got him. So
Mm.
he was not approaching me because he wanted me. He didn't realize I had shifted since I was gone. I wasn't that place anymore. Prime example, I went to go buy my Mercedes and we were on speaking terms, my first Mercedes. And I knew Larry was going to try to insert himself into the deal projects and bring some money.
Mhm.
So what I did, I had an executive pastor of a local church in Atlanta drop me off and stay with me because I also knew that if Larry knew someone else there, he wasn't going to come. And
Mhm.
my hand to God. I think you see this hand. My hand to God. Larry, you there yet? Yeah. He said, I'm on the way. I said, well,
Mhm.
no, Elder so-and-so is with me. Okay, I ain't coming there because I didn't want his money. I didn't want his money. I
Mhm.
knew what it was going to cost. I knew the cost of it. Right. So he wasn't, if he was coming to have sex with me, it was maybe for familiarity,
Okay.
but it wasn't about me. It was about control of familiarity. It wasn't about me at all. No.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Was this an ongoing sexual relationship? And the reason why I'm asking because I saw a video where he said you were counting the first time and the last time, acting like it was 13 years of ongoingness.
Yeah.
Was it ongoing?
I'm going to say something very vulnerable.
Okay.
Um, that was the time that Larry hurt my feelings.
Hmm.
And let me tell you why. Because when you love someone, you like if he would have hit me back with the truth, then okay, all is fair. This is what we do on YouTube, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
But when he made up lies on me, um, it was like I had to admit this man is evil. And now remember, this is my pastor.
Yeah.
This is a person that I had some feelings for with in this kind of Stockholm syndrome kind of space. It's the person I shared intimacy with for 13 years. And this was somebody who I didn't believe, and this is crazy how the mind works, that they would lie. I thought he was going to retaliate, and we were ready for that, but lie? And so people would come tell me, and I wouldn't pay any attention. And I forget what video me and the team were watching one day, and Mako was outside the camera, Larry was on the camera, and Larry was talking about it. And Larry said, because Mako, he talking about I had sex with him, and it was twice. And Mako was, I guess, agreeing with him. Now, mind you, Mako found out about us in 2005. We started having sex in 2003. Then we weren't supposed to have sex no more because Mako and Larry had an agreement, and we end up keeping on having sex. And Mako knew about it the whole time. So Mako and Larry would rather these people will sacrifice you, Sheridan. And I know people, it's hard for people to grasp unless you're in it. They will burn you at the stake to salvage what little life they have left. Because Mako and Larry could have said nothing at all. They could have said, you know what? I don't have time for this. So to make up a lie, that was the first lie. The second lie was that I was snorting coke.
I
And,
didn't hear that one. Wow.
and if I didn't see it with my own eyes, Sheridan, I would not have believed it. I think it was no, it was that twink. I could call it Twinkie ankles. Tyrese's live, and they were like, "Oh, Larry's talking about you and Tyrese's
What you just call him?
Twinkie ankles." And I mean, how you talking about people and you cannot stand up? Like stand up. Okay. Anyway, no, I snorted coke. Right? They said Larry's talking about you. This was during the docuseries. I
Mm-hmm.
went over there and I saw the comment. Larry's commented it. I gave him 200 something $1,000, and he must have snorted it all away. And I stood there. I said, man, because anybody that knows me know, number one, if I snorted a line of coke, I would just say so. That's number one.
Yeah.
Number two, honestly, my nose can't take that. That's why I don't smoke weed. The only thing I smoke is vapes because I had to kick a cigarette habit. And even in that, I had to take I take a Zyrtec almost every day because I get all da-da-da-da-da. This was so you can say I was a disgruntled employee. I guess that's what I'm saying. Disgruntled employee is subjective. Jealous is subjective. So when he was saying that stuff, oh, he's crazy, subjective. But then when I saw the literal lies that there was no subjectivity, it was just made up, point blank, period. That's what hurt me. Me having sex with Larry twice in the entire time that we was together is a literal lie. There's no subjectivity to that. It's either true or not. Me snorting coke is a literal lie. So I could see him, toting the line a little bit, sort of like, well, he was crazy. So I sort of understand. So that's what hurt because I never thought, because there was nothing in that video that's a lie. Nothing. And let me tell you how I can prove it. Cease and desist. Sheridan, and I wish people would think, Daryl Moore, since you got his name on there, I wonder, and Daryl, I'm not picking on you, but I never asked this, but since you're hearing it, I often wonder, did Daryl think I was lying? Because every 2 weeks, Daryl would be like, have you heard from Larry yet? And I'd be like, no. He's like, and you didn't get paid. He was like, literally, you didn't get paid. No. Because people did not believe that video is still up because everybody knew, oh, he gonna get him.
Yeah. I thought he was gonna get you too. I ain't gonna hold you.
But he can't. Because you can't. It's the moment you get me, then everything goes on paper. That 2.5 hour tape, people say it was stitched together, then let the investigators do it. Matter of fact, instead of what do you call that? Before you go to judge, you try to forget.
Deposition?
Not deposition, but when you mediate, before mediation, because they're going to try to get us to go to mediation first. Instead of mediation, let's get a lie detector test appointed by the courts, and let's sit us down. And whoever comes out telling the lie, pay me. Settle. Point blank, period. Larry has the money and the power and the resources to make sure I never open my mouth again. Everyone must ask, why hasn't he used it yet?